pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to begin with, I want to welcome everybody for coming today. It's a little out of the ordinary doing the state of the town this way, but it's the way things turned out. We're going to start with, I'm going to go over and have a list of topics here of where we are on projects, where we hope to be on projects, and just what we've accomplished in the last year since our last state of the town. We also have the town attorney, the town engineer, and the town board here. So at the end, when we open up the questions, we'll all be here. The public has any questions. I started out with the administration. I just wanted to go over exactly what we've been doing. We've worked very hard to strengthen town government. And again, I'll go over this. Some of this we talked about last year, but I'll do it again. We hired Joe Fenner as our town attorney, Stephen Kiley as our town engineer, Kevin Lugmansky as our IT director, Christina Martin is administrative assistant to the supervisor, the town board, and the town attorney. Kelly Brochu is our new director of senior services. Alexandra Hakim is our new social worker, and we've expanded her services. Michael Chi is our recently hired code enforcement officer. Defining procedures has been a very big part of what we're trying to do. We've always, as most of you know, Shelter Island, this is how we do things. And we've been questioned on it sometimes. We realize we have to be a little more professional, so we're correcting it to make sure that our procedures are in place, and this is how it's supposed to be done. We've initiated evaluation and professional development procedures for all departments and all employees so we can ensure professional development and promote growth, development, and retention. With that, I started with all the department heads did a self-evaluation, and I'm in the process of reviewing that with them. Now I'll go into the departments themselves. We initialized a new procedure for hiring. And this is very significant to ensure we hire the most qualified people. So it's not just interviewing them and checking their references. We actually do some testing on the new potential employees. Departments have been cooperating and working together really more than I've ever seen in the past. Some of these examples are social worker, the recreation department, and the senior services have been working together. The town attorney and the building department have been working together. Our town engineer works with all the committees whenever needed. And we have very productive cooperation between the building department and the assessor's office, which is really important because people don't realize that, when the building department's busy, the assessors are busy, and they've both been very busy. So it's good to get that coordinated. And we've also been working very hard to work hand in hand with the town clerk's office. That's pretty much what we're doing administration wise. Next on the agenda here, next on my list is Suffolk County Water Authority. Just so everyone knows, Suffolk County Water Authority assumed the responsibility for maintenance and operation of the West Neck water system. They've already installed new lines throughout the entire system to improve the reliability and to eliminate any potential waste of water. They are in the process of installing state-of-the-art digital metering for all customers to be able to remotely monitor water usage. They planned in the fall to put a new supply well in, and the cost for the new infrastructure has been reduced by $500,000 through a grant that I was able to get with cooperation from Fred Thiel. Next on the list is the White property. The White property was a very significant purchase. The town board basically salvaged the negotiations with the with the White family for their property. In March of 22, the CPF announced that the acquisition was basically dead in the water. Thanks to Stephen Kiley and Jim Colligan's persistence, met with the White family and county officials to reopen negotiations in June, and we finalized the sale in September of 20.1 acres. It was $11 million purchase, half of it from the town and half of it from the county. As far as housing is concerned, the referendum passed in November. Thanks very much to the Community Housing Board and the Community Housing Fund Advisory Board. We were also able to obtain grants for the town from the Community Development Corporation of Long Island for $2 million for ADUs. These are accessory dwelling units, and we were one of 10 grants issued in the whole state. These grants were eligible for building accessory units, for renovating them, bringing existing units up to code, and for financial assistance, including low interest loans or planning or things of that nature. Community Housing Board is working to offer any information or assistance needed to residents. They're very open to talking. There's been a lot of conversation. People from the public are reaching out to them, and it's really a great thing. We've started preliminary work on 12 South Ferry Road to work with the county on guidance of what exactly we can build on that property. That's the old highway bond, and we did all the testing, and it's suitable for building. Now we're just going to find out what the county's going to allow us to do. We also purchased an acre on 69 North Ferry Road, adjacent to Sachem's Woods, for potential community housing. The comprehensive plan update, we've hired a new consulting firm, and we hope to have a rough draft completed by early summer with outreach to the community at large throughout the summer and into September. Hopefully we'll have it all for review in the fall and get it done before the year end. The town board has initiated a moratorium on big house permits. Moratoriums are always controversial, but we felt it was time to really, address this issue rather than try to piecemeal it. So we're looking at the whole package, and we're looking certainly for input from the residents. We've reconstituted the Board of Ethics. We've updated the ethics code. We transferred wetlands permitting to the planning board. I know this has been a topic of big discussion, but despite opposing views, the expectation is for the process to be more effective with the same, if not a more stringent level of oversight and transparency. We're going to give that a go and see how it works. We installed the dock at Volunteer Park for our first responders. We had offered, Jack's Marine had offered space on their dock for the fire boat and the police boat. We felt it would be better for all parties if the town owned the dock themselves. So we installed that one. Fresh Pond Project. The Fresh Pond Project is a really good example of a public-private partnership. The Fresh Pond Association has been very involved. They've raised money. They've worked very hard with us. Secured over $100,000 in funding to design and permit pond rehabilitation. Permits for restoration activities are expected this July. This project, people don't really think about this, will reverse centuries of water quality degradation, allowing safe public enjoyment of a treasured island asset. Before I get into the next one, which is water quality in the center of town, a note here. There's currently a well-organized and well-funded opposition that is trying to undermine and stall any work the town board is trying to do. This is not a political us versus them concept. This is reality. This group is actively trying to stall any efforts to improve water quality, using water as the catch-all for stopping any forward thinking on housing and zoning. If successful, they could shut down all volunteer services, including fire and ambulance service, as well as potentially leading to the outright closure of our school. I would urge you to be cautious and pay attention to exactly who is trying to preserve the value of their properties as opposed to who is trying to preserve our sense of community. That said, the issues in the center of town, I want to make sure everybody understands that public health is not a negotiable topic or a political item. It needs to be addressed immediately to protect the health of our residents and the health of all our waterways. The town board, again, just going through the procedure, sent out requests for proposals to address the problem in the center of town with the nitrates. We accepted the Lombardo Associates proposal. They did this study. We received recommendations from all of our consultants. We reviewed alternate sites. We hired T.W. Grosser consultants for the CEQA review. We hired a hydrologist, Tom Cambereri, to study our waters. Again, these were all questions that were asked by Sylvester Manor, asked by the Friends of Cockles Harbor, and asked by the Shelter Island Association. And we went over and above. We hired 3 separate engineering firms plus our town engineer. And 2 of the 3 consultants said they've never done this much work on a project of this size, this smaller size. So I think we tried very hard to address all the concerns. I think scientifically we answered all the concerns that were brought to us. Currently, the school has decided to do their own remediation. Town board is committed to address the water quality problem holistically rather than piecemeal. Just within the last 2 weeks, the Menantic Creek neighbors are forming an association to help aid in the study testing the waters in the creek. But just like Fresh Pond neighbors stepped up, the Menantic Creek neighbors are stepping up. One of the significant things we found was the water flow. You know, we think about the center of town and the nitrate problem here, but the biggest flume goes right to West Neck Creek, and that's probably one of the contributors to why West Neck Creek isn't as healthy as it should be. Some of the options we've talked about, we can continue as planned without the school. We can install individual IA systems, but we're unable to serve all the municipal buildings with these, and these will constrain our the use and community services, and they will not restore drinking water quality. I'm saying it will not. You can do a quick fix on things, but we're looking to do the whole package, not just little bits. We have the engineers looking at alternate systems. Question, you know, the use of the nitrate system has been questioned by the public, so we're asking them to look at other systems. We've looked at and always look at alternate sites, and we're bringing, next Tuesday, we have a meeting with Suffolk County Water Authority to possibly talk about public water, and we're also working with the WAC, thank you, WAC to push for more units in the center of town. Let's see how we can address, you know, possibly getting more incentives out for people. Some of the alternatives for the water process is, again, we're reviewing alternate systems. We consider expanding wastewater treatment connectivity to private properties on 114. We determine the cost of a revised project. We're promoting increased installation of residential systems, hopefully with added incentives. We're talking with Suffolk County Water to put a supply well in Satcham's Woods, serving the municipal buildings, including the library, firehouse, and ambulance building. Satcham, just so people, before they get all wound up, Satcham's Wood was originally purchased for potential well fields in the future. Again, the Water Advisory Council is working with Joe, and they're going to do a survey of the residents in the immediate area as to interest in hooking up to public water. And we're going to determine the cost to the town or hook up to municipal buildings as well as to individual homeowners. And we would put all this out to a referendum. We wouldn't, this is what we want to do. We're going to do it. If we come up with a plan for wastewater and public water, we're going to put it out and ask the voters, do we want to go forward or not? Do that. Other issues that we're working on is, well, everything we have here we're working on. Well, one potential item that is, rumors have been out there a little bit, but we're looking to see if it's something we can do. Is we're looking to purchase Charlie Murray's property on Midway Road. We'd like to be, if purchased, we would relocate the fit center there. We could use the house for municipal use or housing. It has enough room for future expansion. And again, the school has been very generous with the use of the fit center, but they remind us on a regular basis that the insurance companies aren't real happy with the setup, and they would prefer that the fit center wasn't on the school property. So this is an opportunity to, to address that issue, but also to look to the future. It's very rare that land becomes available that the municipality can actually use. So this is something we're in the process of looking at. Amber's looking at bond counsel to see what, exactly what's involved, how we can go forward. We've asked the recreation department to come up with plans, how they think they could best use the land, and we'll go from there. We're also looking at, we're going to remove the building next door. We're working with the current residents to get out in the very foreseeable future. The building is just not salvageable. I know some people say anything can be fixed, but this building is beyond repair. We have no plans for a parking lot. We have no plans for anything. We just want to start with the safety again, health and safety, and take the building down, go from there. We're also in the process of initiating a capital facilities management plan. And that's for all the town properties and how we can best use them and, what we need to go forward. Always trying to think going forward. I'd like to state publicly that for my 4 terms as town supervisor, it's my distinct honor to work with both my current office staff as well as the current town board. The administrative work involved in running the town has grown exponentially since my first term in office. Judy Meringer, Barbara Bloom, Shelby Mundy, Coco Lee Thurman, and Christina Martin have always stepped up their game whenever needed and bring a real sense of professionalism to town hall. So I'd like to thank them all. Town board, while not always agreeing on every issue, respect each other's decisions and work well together for the betterment of the town. I can honestly say that this is the most proactive board I've ever been involved with, and quite possibly the most proactive ever. This board has gone out of their way to publicly address all issues before us, and it was a great pleasure to serve with them. In closing, I've said in the past that Shelter Island was at a crossroad. We could grow into the future, continuing to be a diverse community as much as possible, or we can lose our sense of place and become an enclave for only the wealthy. Shelter Island has always been a place where residents felt safe, secure, and a part of a real community. We recognize that the need for our community to be supportive of our full-time residents who provide a workforce that supports our EMS, fire and police departments, our school, ferry services, our shellfishermen, as well as our skilled craftsmen and landscapers. But in the last decades, the economic realities have shifted with larger homes and a build-out that is forcing many to leave Shelter Island. The current town board recognizes that it is not too late to save our precious human resources and provide housing opportunities which are affordable for our most essential workers. We will continue to ask for community support at all economic levels to keep Shelter Island unique and welcoming. We are confident that we can still accomplish this goal together. And that's the end of the official state of the town. We're more than happy to answer questions if anybody has any questions for us. I don't have a Zoom comment.
Jimmy, I'm going to pull in.
Christina, I can't see Zoom. I don't know if
Anybody has any questions, I'll bring the podium over. You need to come to the podium, identify yourself, and just be on camera so we can see. Sure.
You mentioned that you were putting the sewage and the water up for a referendum. When will the referendum take place?
We're hoping to have plans in place. We don't have any formal plans in place yet. We're hoping to have plans in place as we're going through for alternate systems, not alternate sites. We're going to stick with the site we have right now unless something better comes along. And next Tuesday, Suffolk County Water Authority is coming to tell us exactly what their proposal would be to go forward. So Mark, I would hope if we get all our ducks in a row, we want to do it before, November at the latest. We want to do it for the election.
Conceivably be part of the general election. That's a wonderful idea.
And again, we felt that, rather than have discussions and have groups, let's just put it out to the public. Let the public tell us if we're doing the right thing or not.
I think that's the right path to apply.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Anybody on Zoom?
Christina, anybody on Zoom? Okay.
Can I just,
Sure.
I would like to say something. Obviously, the 5 of us have, come together a couple years ago, and it's been a privilege to serve with these 4 people. I will tell you something that I think every one of us brings a different set of talents and skills to the town board. I love the fact that I work for a supervisor, and I've worked for 3 of them, and they've all been good. But Jerry's empowering, the allowing you and us to be able to do our thing has been a breath of fresh air to me. That you've given us this responsibility. And as you said before, we don't always come to 100% consensus, but we've never, ever lost respect and deep respect for one another. So I love that. We're almost like brother and sister. We may represent different political parties, but we work extremely well together. And I think it starts with their respect and that empowering of what Supervisor has given us. I also think that we've been, and Jerry mentioned it before, surrounding ourselves with the additional people that we have here on staff has been a blessing, because you're only as good. It's not the five of us that get it done. It's that tremendous support staff that works for this town. And I will tell you, by and large, we've got some great, great people that work for this town. It's a privilege to work with them on a daily basis. I like the fact that we think outside the box. I think one of the criticisms that we had of this town board we were too ambitious. And perhaps at times we were. Perhaps at times, and I hated to go into a town, into one of these kind of meetings, state of the town, where everything is picture perfect. Have we made mistakes? Sure we have. Have we admitted to those mistakes? Absolutely. Have we learned from those mistakes? I think so. And I think that the growth of and the appreciation and the respect that people have for one another has grown throughout our time together. So I hope that in future town boards, and I love the experience for the 8 years that I've had here. I hope that the teamwork, the effort, the time commitment is there, because the town deserves it. As Jerry once said, there's the state, the health of the thing that I'm most concerned about as I leave office is we do the right thing. The people, the year-round people that live here and work here. And that's twofold: protecting the health and safety of the people that live in the center of this town. And number two is being a community that embraces and supports fire department, police department, EMS, teachers, electricians, plumbers, painters, ferry boat people. All of this is absolutely essential. The beauty of Shelter Island is that we are diverse. We do not want to become a gated community. Let's not make the same mistakes that we made, what we see down in the Hamptons, where people are literally driven off of this island because they can't afford to live anymore. I don't want that. I don't think any of us really want that. We want a community of all socioeconomic groups. It makes us stronger. The more diverse we are, the stronger we get. It's a great place to bring up kids. And I hope the school stays in and continues on for decades to follow. They produce some very, very outstanding people here on Shelter Island. I just want to say it has been a pleasure. We have some work that we still want to get done before the end of the year. And if we get that done, great. And if we don't, I'm hoping that the people that elect the new town board that comes in, they all make that commitment of working together for the good of this town. Thank you.
Anybody else? Last chance, anybody in the audience? Okay, well, thank you all for coming. Have a regular meeting next week. Again, Suffolk County Water Authority will be here at our work session to talk about potential municipal water in the center of town. Thank you all.